Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
It became apparent that the person that we had in custody was experiencing a significant mental health crisis.
A frightening incident at the Pacific Coliseum after a man allegedly rammed a car into the arena's front doors during a Cirque du Soleil performance. Plus,
there's the potential for that flank that's adjacent to the community north of Kelly Lake to kind of move more towards the community.
The BC Wildfire Service warns gusty winds could fan the flames of two major wildfires in the province's northeast. And pre-sale buyers left in limbo after a Burnaby development goes bust.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Janella Hamilton. Thanks for joining us. Public safety is top of mind this weekend following another frightening incident, this time at the Pacific Coliseum, where thousands of people were inside the arena when a man allegedly crashed a vehicle into the front entrance. And as Mira Baines tells us, it happened just as surviving victims and families of the Lapu Lapu Day tragedy marked the end of a period of mourning.
A dramatic scene unfolded Thursday night at Pacific Coliseum. A 30-year-old man slammed a vehicle into the building during a Cirque du Soleil on Ice show, which was happening inside. No injuries were reported. The suspect was detained by security until officers arrived.
It became apparent that the person that we had in custody was experiencing a significant mental health crisis. He was speaking and acting erratically, specifically having religious delusions, talking about Satan, talking about God.
He was taken to hospital where he's being held under the Mental Health Act. Vancouver police had received a 911 call before the incident about a man acting erratically at a church.
My understanding is he was at a Bible study group that meets every Thursday night. He left shortly after that 911 call.
Police did not reveal the suspect's name. The incident is leading to changes for future events at the site.
In this particular case, we are currently making site security planning adjustments for both the Coliseum today and as well for Playland, and those both include additional vehicle barriers.
In Vancouver, 300 police officers are being deployed this weekend, as well as more security measures. Events include a BC Lions game and a Snoop Dogg concert on Saturday, and Italian Day on Commercial Drive on Sunday, plus a Whitecaps game.
These mobile vehicle barriers may not look like much, but they weigh about 700 pounds each, and VPD has recently bought about 16 of them for large public gatherings like Italian Day.
We understand that the community is on edge, and we want everyone to know that they can feel safe coming out to Italian Day.
The recent incidents involving drivers have sparked conversations about safety at local festivals.
Well, I was actually just having lunch with my friend yesterday, and we're talking about Italian Day, and we were talking about where on the drive that would be potentially targeted.
I think it's always important to be mindful when you're in a large crowd.
At the end of the day, people are very strong and they want to live and they want to enjoy life.
Italian Day organizers are planning to hold a moment of silence to honor Lapu Lapu Day victims. Mira Baines, CBC News, Vancouver.
Police have also announced they are putting up more surveillance cameras in the downtown east side because of a string of violent crimes.
While we understand and we're mindful of people's privacy, we also know we have broad latitude for law enforcement purposes.
8 elevated safety cameras have now been installed, 4 at Main and Hastings and 4 at Corral and Hastings. Police say the area represents just 3% of the city's population, but accounts for 30% of all violent crime in Vancouver. They say the cameras will not be used for traffic enforcement or use facial recognition technology. A 2-day hearing date has been set to assess if the suspect in the Lapu Lapu Day tragedy is mentally fit to stand trial for murder. Kai G. Adam Lowe's mental fitness trial is scheduled for July 23rd in Vancouver Provincial Court under Judge Reginald Harris. He will be required to attend in person. Lowe is accused of driving his SUV through a crowd of people at the Lapu Lapu Day Street Festival on April 26. He is charged with 8 counts of second-degree murder. The Supreme Court of Canada has ruled that a woman who was originally convicted in the 2011 drowning death of a toddler must be acquitted. Tammy Bouvette was charged with second-degree murder after a 19-month-old child she was babysitting in Cranbrook drowned in the bathtub. She maintained she did not abuse or kill the child, but she pled guilty to criminal negligence and was sentenced to 12 months in jail. Her conviction was quashed 2 years ago, with the BC Supreme Court of Appeal calling it a miscarriage of justice. It found the Crown failed to disclose some key evidence to defense lawyers, evidence that may have changed Bouvette's decision to enter a guilty plea. It was supposed to open by December of last year. Instead, what was sold as dozens of homes is now an abandoned construction site. Karen Larson has more on a Burnaby development that's gone belly up.
I'm in North Burnaby on Hastings Street, where a 5-story condo building called Sienna at the Heights was supposed to be built by now. And the many people who put down pre-sale deposits in the hundreds of thousands of dollars long moved in. But as you can see, there is no building, and the property is now for sale by court order. There is a long list of companies and people who are owed money from this project. We spoke to the owner of Smoke Signals Flagging. They're owed $31,000 for work at this site and likely not to see a penny of it. Danita Leone is the owner. She told us she staged a one-woman protest at the offices of the construction company, only to be told the company had gone bankrupt. As for pre-sale buyers, they should fare a little bit better. Pre-sale deposits are required to be held in trust. According to a real estate lawyer we spoke to, that means at some point the 31 pre-sale buyers who plunked down over $5 million cumulative to buy into this Sienna will have a chance to get their money back. The question no one seems to be able to answer is when. Karen Larson, CBC News, Burnaby.
The BC Wildfire Service is expecting an intense weekend of fire activity as winds threaten to fan the flames of 2 major wildfires in the province's northeast. The Kiskatna River wildfire near the community of Kelly Lake is currently estimated at 119 square kilometers. But BC Wildfire says that number is likely bigger based on the growth seen Thursday evening. The perimeter of the fire has not reached the Kelly Lake boundary, though embers that were swept into the community caused spot fires. The Peace River Regional District has issued evacuation orders within the Kelly Lake area. The service says a wind shift could push a flank of the fire toward the Kelly Lake community.
The wind pushing the fire from the north, there is the potential for that flank that's adjacent to the community north of Kelly Lake to kind of move more towards the community, which is why we're doing all this work north of the community to get ahead of that wind shift.
Meanwhile, BC's second wildfire of note, the Summit Lake wildfire along the Alaska Highway, has tripled in size to 83.54 square kilometers from 26 square kilometers on Thursday. The Northern Rockies Regional Municipality has issued an evacuation order for an area along the Alaska Highway corridor from the Summit Lake campground to the Steamboat Mountain Brake Check. The BC Wildfire Service has told drivers to expect delays and closures on Highway 97. Steve Jung joins us now with our first look at the weather. Steve?
Janella, definitely volatile conditions in the northeastern part of the province. Speaking of those high winds, we can see it taper off a little bit on Saturday, but they gust up again on Sunday, reaching as high as 50 kilometers an hour in some places, those gusts. And unfortunately, it's not going to leave. We're not going to have much relief in the form of precipitation. As you can see, some scattered showers making its way to the northeast. Hopefully, it'll have some impact on those dry conditions that we're seeing right now in the northeastern part of BC. But we also have a ridge of high pressure coming towards the southern part of the province, bringing with it higher than seasonal temperatures for much of the southern part of BC. More on that coming up later in the show.
Thanks so much, Steve. Surrey's plans to build a new arena is being met with optimism by many in the city. Mayor Brenda Locke announced last month that the city is considering the move to boost its entertainment district. As Saurabh Sandhu reports, some say a facility like this is long overdue.
Ron Burrard is the president of Surrey Eagles, a hockey club based in the city. He says he's happy to hear about the possibility of Surrey getting a new arena.
It was long overdue. Our community of Surrey is so large that we needed not just a facility for sports, for hockey, basketball, lacrosse, but we needed a venue where the community could call its hub.
Burrard says the new arena could go a long way in encouraging sports culture in the city.
We also need the ability for the graduating kids from minor sports into an event where other organizations can see them on a global scale, where scouts and agents and folks can come in and see these kids in a much more professional environment.
Last month, in her State of the City address, Mayor Brenda Locke announced plans to build a 10,000-seat arena, which will anchor a new sports and entertainment district in Surrey.
Much of the young people who are living in the region live in the city of Surrey, and really where their spending is really happening actually is in the city of Vancouver. So that it's really, I think, an attempt to kind of capture that money and actually and energy, I should add, and have it concentrate in Surrey.
Thousands of people, there's probably 50 or 60,000 people here would be able to fill an arena like that, no problem. Here, maybe Surrey can step up into the minor hockey league more.
The city says they sent in a request to look for a development advisor who will refine the business case, advise on risk allocation, and shape the procurement roadmap.
We're at the very, very start of this larger process, and there are many, many hoops to go through before this type of facility is a go or no go.
The city has yet to finalize the location and precise capital budget. Construction is expected to begin in 2027. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Surrey.
New guidelines are out on how businesses can use environmental claims to sell their products and services. This comes after Canada's Competition Bureau faced backlash when it expanded rules around what can and cannot be claimed in advertising and marketing last year. As Jessica Chung explains, reaction is pouring in about how effective these will be.
In the past year, we've changed our packaging into 100% compostable packaging.
Marilyn Cobbin has several tactics when it comes to keeping her company sustainable.
I use a lot of bamboo, linen, cotton. My motto is, does it break down in the landfill? If it does, then I use that.
Blue Sky Clothing has focused on having a smaller environmental footprint since its inception nearly 3 decades ago.
It's going to make me hurry up and get my certifications onto the website, and I've just been a little bit slow about that, but just to make sure that people really understand what we are doing and make that more clear to the public.
The Competition Bureau has released a list of 6 principles on compliance to help businesses navigate the crackdowns on greenwashing contained in Bill C-59, which passed last year. They include making sure environmental claims are truthful, specific, and not misleading. The Canadian Association of Physicians for the Environment, which helps shape the guidelines, warns that greenwashing has real-life consequences.
We're all breathing the dirty air. We're all living with the wildfires. We're all dealing with the impacts of polluting practices. And greenwashing, cracking down on greenwashing, aims to create an even playing field where genuinely green actors can be rewarded for their environmental behaviors.
Still, some worry the guidelines might deter companies from either implementing green practices altogether or would make them hesitant to make those practices public because of possible scrutiny.
Companies aren't talking about what they're doing. It kind of sets a social norm, and other companies are like, well, I don't need to do anything either. If consumers care about this, which recent research suggests that they do, they're not going to be able to differentiate, like which companies are really doing something and which companies are not.
Jessica Chung, CBC News, Vancouver.
They may not be the easiest of pets. They can be noisy, rambunctious, and they may outlive you. So, where do unwanted parrots end up? We'll take you to the refuge next. Starting this week, healthcare workers in Washington State, Oregon, and California might see ads like this one.
More news from Washington today. New data reveals why.
If you want to care for others in a place that cares about you, come to BC.
Health Minister Josie Osborne says it's part of the province's efforts to address the healthcare shortage in BC by recruiting U.S. doctors and nurses. The campaign is being shown on thousands of advertising screens within a 16-kilometer radius of healthcare facilities, as well as on podcasts and Netflix shows.
We also know, though, that doctors are not just motivated by dollars and cents. And that's why, one of the reasons why we're taking advantage of the uncertainty and chaos that exists south of the border right now, because we know that British Columbia is built on a healthcare system that meets the values of why people go into medicine and nursing and into healthcare in the first place.
She says BC will eventually expand its international recruitment to other jurisdictions, including the United Kingdom. The ad campaign will cost taxpayers $5 million. They're truly amazing animals, but they may not be the easiest pet. They talk back, they can be messy, and they may outlive you. Every year, parrots are abandoned, but where do these unwanted pets end up? Alexander Lemique takes us inside the Greyhaven Parrot Refuge to meet some birds looking for a new home.
I love you. This is Bob. Bob is a Moluccan cockatoo. He was rescued by the Greyhaven Exotic Bird Sanctuary. Greyhaven rescues orphan birds, cares for them, and tries to find them new homes. Bob has been waiting for nearly 10 years. For Jan Robson, Greyhaven's communication director, parrots are often bought or adopted by the original owners for the wrong reasons.
If that's what you're looking for in a pet, is a talking little toy, you're setting yourself up for failure. They're not just a showpiece. They're not just a little toy that you can pull out and, have do tricks or talk. They're incredibly intelligent, emotionally mature animals.
Parrots are highly social animals. They live in flocks in the wild and form strong bonds with their companions. Even in captivity with humans, this need for companionship and social interaction remains. Tina Kiermis owns 9 exotic birds. She says she has a special bond with each of them.
I'm their flock. I'm part of their flock, right? So, if you give a bird away, then it's like they're losing their family.
And parrots often lose their families, because a parrot is a long-term commitment. Some species can live close to 80 years. Parrot owners often get older and are no longer able to care for their birds. This is the case with Tico, the cockatiel, who plucks his feathers, a behavior that can be caused by stress or boredom. Tico can be quite noisy, another characteristic that may cause owners to abandon their parrots. It can be like having a permanent toddler.
If they do talk, chances are they're going to imitate things you don't want them to imitate. Like that your smoke detector that went off 10 years ago, they're still imitating that every single day.
Parrots require a lot of patience and dedication from their owners. And adopting a bird is a big decision.
I mean, you have to take the bird because you want to give the bird a good life, not because you want something colorful in your living room.
For Jan Robson, she wishes Greyhaven didn't even exist. She doesn't believe people should own birds, and Greyhaven opposes the breeding and selling of parrots.
The thing when people buy birds from pet stores, the birds basically, they come from breeders. So, it all boils down to the breeding. And as long as we continue to breed them, we're perpetuating this problem. Parrots really, despite the fact that we have all these wonderful birds here and we're looking for homes for them, they have no business being in captivity.
Alex Lemique, CBC News, Ladner.
The day that was at St. Eugene Resort in Cranbrook, a warm summer-like day in the East Kootenays, and things are going to get a lot hotter. Steve has your full provincial forecast coming up next.
This is Vancouver is a new CBC podcast where we explore the issues, the stories, and the people that make this place home. Listen to This is Vancouver wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC inbox.
Check out CBC News BC, your local streaming channel. It's a free ad-supported TV channel available 24/7, delivering breaking news, weather updates, daily headlines, and sharing stories that matter to British Columbians. Stream your favorite CBC programs like The Early Edition, BC Today, and On the Coast. CBC News BC is available on connected TV platforms.
Steve Jung joins us now with a second look at our weekend weather. Steve?
Well, Janella, it's going to be hot and dry heading into the weekend, but for tonight, depending on where you are, it might actually be a little bit pleasant. We have lots of cloud cover over much of BC, clear skies in the central interior and also in the Peace region. And if you are in Fort St. John, a reminder that you do have local wildfire smoke from the Kiskatinaw River wildfire that's causing some visibility and poor air quality issues. But otherwise, temperatures remaining quite cool tonight. We do have a special weather statement for much of southern British Columbia, including the island, parts of the interior, and also the Kootenays. This isn't like the heat dome we had a few years ago, but it is a ridge of high pressure that's moving in and bringing with it some higher than seasonal temperatures. As we can see here for tomorrow's highs, high 20s and also low 30s, especially in the southeast part of the province in the interior and the Kootenays. 29 degrees in Whistler and the Sea to Sky, 22 in Vancouver, hotter in the Fraser Valley in Abbotsford at 27. On Sunday, though, that's when we really begin to see those temperature increases. Pretty much across the province, it's going to be hotter than it was on Saturday. And we're seeing temperatures in the southeast begin to hit those mid-30s. Those temperatures will stay largely unchanged, cooling in some parts as it tapers off. But as we head into Monday, we will see those hotter temperatures begin to still persist as we begin a new week. And then as we look at the forecast for tomorrow, clear skies across much of the province. We'll see some clearing skies on the north and central coast, some clouds in the northwest. And then for Metro Vancouver, for your 5-day forecast, low 20s, mid 20s as we begin a new week, hotter by about 5 degrees in the Fraser Valley.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve. It looks like a very nice weekend to get out there and enjoy some of that sun.
Definitely.
Thank you for being with us on CBC Vancouver News. To keep up to date with all the latest news, you can visit our website at cbc.ca/BC. Hope you have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.